Do expectations set us up for disappointment? How much of our unhappiness comes from unrealistic expectations of what life should be? Can sense of entitlement lead to self-sabotaging resentment? And if so, how can gratitude and perspective reframing help us to live happier, healthier lives? All of that and more in today's video. What things are you and I truly entitled to? It's an uncomfortable question to ask, especially in a cultural climate where the word entitlement has become loaded and pejorative in popular discourse. It may conjure images of out-of-touch activists demanding luxuries as rights or expecting sacrifices from others without a debt of gratitude. But despite the emotionally laden imagery such a discussion may evoke, it's a necessary discussion nonetheless, because there are truly things we can say people are owed as a matter of right. Of dispute is not whether we are entitled to certain things, but rather what precisely we are entitled to. Why is it so important to clarify our rights? Unfortunately, there is a psychological and ethical danger in cultivating a sense of entitlement to things we are not truly owed. According to the psychologist Albert Ellis, whose theories are a foundational component of modern cognitive behavioral therapy, harboring unrealistic expectations of what the world or those around us owe us can trap us in an irrational mindset that undermines our mental health, erodes our sense of agency, and fractures our relationships. Entitlement clouds our ability to appreciate what we have, making us feel perpetually dissatisfied and resentful. Instead of feeling empowered, we become trapped in a cycle of frustration, always expecting more and feeling let down when life doesn't conform to our demands. Such psychological insight is also echoed in classical philosophy, both Western and Eastern. The Roman Stoic philosopher Epictetus argued that attachment to outcomes is a key source of suffering, as specific results are often beyond our control. This is especially astute in the case of unrealistic expectations, wherein we set ourselves up for disappointment by wanting the world to be different from how it actually is. Likewise, Buddhism teaches that our desires and attachments are the central cause of our suffering. Psychological pain, frustration, dissatisfaction, and yearning is rooted in desire and attachment because we constantly long for things we don't get. Thus, when we're deprived of them, we experience frustration, whereas when we get them, the satisfaction is momentary at best. Both schools agree that the solution is to expect nothing and accept everything. We should not deny ourselves all pleasures or forgo enjoying what we have, but we should also not attach ourselves excessively to certain things or outcomes, instead practicing moderation. This inability to accept things as they are, and the suffering that results from it, often lead to another corrosive emotion: resentment. As Martha Nussbaum observes, when we feel that the world or the people around us have failed to meet our unrealistic expectations or desires, resentment can quietly take root. Instead of being future or solution-oriented, we begin to fixate on the past and hold on to grudges, nursing feelings of injustice. Over time, this resentment not only distorts our perception of reality, but also poisons our relationships and sense of self-worth. It traps us in a vicious cycle of blame and bitterness, further compounding our dissatisfaction with life. How can we break out of this cycle? Well, one solution is to use the tools of modern psychology. As alluded to earlier, one of the aims of cognitive behavioral therapy is to help us reframe our perspective to align closer with reality. Irrational beliefs often stem from past trauma, unprocessed emotions, or even psychiatric conditions. These beliefs distort our perceptions, leading us to develop rigid, unrealistic expectations that aren't flexible enough to accommodate life's inherent uncertainties. As a result, we experience negative emotional consequences, from frustration and resentment to anxiety, and even self-destructive behaviors like social withdrawal and aggression. The key to breaking this cycle is cognitive restructuring, becoming aware of our irrational thoughts and replacing them with more realistic, nuanced ones that help us process the inherent bittersweetness of life more constructively. How exactly do we identify which thoughts are irrational, though? By what objective standards can we determine what is truly owed to us? According to the medieval philosopher Aquinas, that which we are truly owed derives from our intrinsic dignity as human beings. Natural law prescribes what humans need to live good lives, namely, the essentials for survival, well-being, and the pursuit of virtue. The modern philosopher Martha Nussbaum expands these rights: life, health, bodily integrity, intellectual and sensual expression, emotive expression, cultivation of morals, social life, opportunity for play, a healthy relationship with nature, and a sense of agency in political, economic, and material matters. Justice requires assuring these essentials are available to all people by realistically achievable means. That said, justice doesn't necessarily entail absolute equality of outcome. As Aristotle notes, distributive justice is that which people deserve according to their merit, contribution, and need. Justice is about balance and proportionality rather than absolute equality. Goods should be distributed according to the specific circumstances of each individual. How exactly do we judge individual circumstances then? According to Martha Nussbaum, we should focus on what they are actually able to do. Ultimately, we must ensure equity of opportunity, so that people have the means to pursue the functionings and capabilities necessary for a good life, given their concrete circumstances, abilities, and limitations. While this does still mean that people must work for the means of their sustenance, i.e. that rights come with obligations, it also means that society should accommodate individuals so that they're supported according to what they actually have the capacity to do. Such obligations are not an arbitrary imposition contrary to the flourishing of the individual, but are rather, according to Benedict XVI, a form of empowerment that allow individuals and local communities to take responsibility for their needs into their own hands, while also mutually promoting the common good, which benefits everyone. So, how can we shift our perspective to better align our beliefs with what we are genuinely entitled to? Apart from addressing past trauma, one of the most important steps is cultivating a habit of gratitude. Gratitude is a transformative attitude that extends beyond simply saying thank you. It's about appreciating the gift of life and the present moment. Everything we have, from our health to our relationships, is a privilege, and shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have fosters inner peace and tranquility. While gratitude can and sometimes should be expressed externally through acts of appreciation towards others, it is principally an internal mindset that allows us to recognize the positive in our lives. As the psychologist Robert Emmons observes, this attitude of appreciation increases happiness, life satisfaction, and mental well-being, improves physical health, and strengthens relationships by fostering positive communication and kindness. Furthermore, gratitude helps us cope with hardship by shifting our focus away from negative emotions like resentment and self-pity, allowing us instead to build resilience and adapt to challenges. Ultimately, gratitude allows us to live with more contentment, connection, and emotional strength, overcoming the burdens of entitlement and resentment to enjoy life as we experience it. So, what do you think? Should we reflect more on what we are or aren't entitled to? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified when new videos are released. Also be sure to like this video so that YouTube recommends it to others. If you'd like to support this channel for as little as $1 a month, you can also become a supporter on Patreon. Links in the description of this video. Remember, cultivating gratitude is a journey that starts with small steps. Even slight changes in mindset can lead to big shifts in how we experience life. Live mindfully, be grateful for what you have, and always remember that your life matters. Peace be with you. This has been The Philosopher.